Tubers, tubettes, and of course crazy people. Hey, I want to take a quick second and just thank all the folks that subscribed recently to the dog channel. It's been a big uptick, and I just want to let you know that I want to welcome you to the dog family and that you are truly appreciated, as well and as much as those that have been with me possibly since day one. Thank you. Okay. In this video, I'm going to sit down for the second time with my friend Mike. Mike has been in the Philippines now for 2 years, and it was almost exactly 1 year ago that him and I did a video together. I thought it would be fun to catch up and see how year number 2 is going for him. More importantly, if you're watching this video, there's a very, very high probability that you are possibly thinking about either coming out to the Philippines to visit, or maybe even permanently move out here and retire. If you're doing that, there's a high probability that you're online doing a bunch of research. You may be watching videos like mine and other people, and there's also a chance that you're talking to a few ladies. Well, if anybody talked to a lot of ladies, it was Mike. And so I thought it would be good he was great. He was a good sport. He came out and he shared not only some of the victories and how things have turned out for him in the last 2 years. It's not all roses. But he also was very candid about some of the mistakes that he made primarily online and primarily prior to coming out to the Philippines, which may just be reflective of what you're doing. So stay tuned and let's catch our video with my friend Mike. All right, well, as promised in the introduction, I'm here with my buddy Mike.
Hey guys.
And it is our 1 year anniversary of having done a video together.
It was up at Forest Camp.
It was at Forest Camp.
Ago. We did something with Monte back then, and It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
And we get beat up every now and then because they say YouTubers are always interviewing other YouTubers. But you know what? Sometimes the best source of information for the folks watching are from guys with boots on the ground that are running around doing things and experiencing life over here. So that's just...
and they're willing to share it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of guys do things, they keep it private. And
right.
We're willing to share our experiences.
So looking back, you've been here 2 years.
2 years, February.
And after 2 years, how do you feel? I mean, what's changed with you? What's your impression of your life today as it was when you first landed?
Other than when I married my very first time and had a daughter and such, I am the happiest I've been since I've been 30.
Okay.
You know, the life couldn't be better. It could be better if I was richer and I had more money. You know, that helps everybody. You got to have that green. And the more
a little bit of this.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But overall, emotionally and physically, I feel great. And I'm happy. I wake up every day happy.
Okay. What was your first 6 months like here in the Philippines?
Hectic.
Yeah.
Is a good word.
What would a guy that's watching this right now, if he was to mimic you or have the same experiences as you had, what would be the ups, what would be the downs, what would be the trials and tribulations of that first 6 months over here?
My first 6 months, the first 2 months I spent in Bohol in Panglao, close to Lona Beach. And I had a great apartment there. I had a girl here in the Philippines that checked it out for me, made sure it was exactly what the picture looked like. You know, you get that bait and switch thing. And she set it up for me, and I came here, and it was great. And she wasn't a live-in girlfriend. She went to school, and she came down like 1 day every 1 or 2 days every 10 days because she had school. And that didn't last long. But the relaxation and decompression of the hassle back home, you know, paying the bills. I got to go to work. HR, you're a minute late. You know, HR department's on you.
Right.
You say the wrong thing to somebody at work. All of a sudden, you know, you're the bad guy. And a lot of pressure. And in my life, I caused it on myself. And
you're talking about back home.
Back home with the COVID. And when I got here, I was able to walk up and down this beach, 2.5 miles each direction to where I would get my coffee.
Yeah.
and where I would go for dinner. I didn't have a motorcycle, so I would walk and walk. And I'd send videos to my friends, coworkers, and they say, Mike, you're living the dream. You're in paradise. And I was, but how many times can you walk up and down the same street?
Exactly.
You know, it's Groundhog Day over and over
Yeah.
and over again. So after 2 months, I needed something else. I needed to find a community. I needed to find a small city. And Dumaguete, I remember seeing it always on YouTube, listening to different people. And it's just a short ferry ride over. So I got on the ferry, came here, got an Airbnb, checked out the city and fell in love with it, and went back, packed up my stuff, and moved here.
So you've been here ever since?
Ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you first moved over here, we got the first 2 months out of the way. What was the next, say, 4 months like, moving over here to Dumaguete?
4 months was situating myself,
Okay.
getting an apartment that was reasonable and comfortable, meeting friends, you know, trying to make some friends coming down to the coffee shop or coming into town, go to the McDonald's, you know. And the first friend I made was Bud Brown.
Okay.
The first foreigner where I contacted, and he agreed to meet, just like he has with many people. And we sat down and talked, gave me his 2 cents of life in the Philippines and Dumaguete. And but it was hard at first. It's so different. The life here is different. The pace slows down. You're in a hurry. You go to the bank. I want to exchange some money, and you got to wait 45 minutes. You know, you get in the line and you get in the chairs, and everybody gets up and moves over one chair and sits back down, and it's all that way to the front of the line. And you're saying to yourself, back home, I go in the bank, I'm in and out in minutes.
Right.
And some things take all day that back home would only take a short time.
So will you be easily frustrated by that the first 6 months?
Yes, frustration did set in. A lot of issues with dealing with getting things done in a timely manner. You know, taking your laundry. I didn't do laundry. I didn't have anybody to do it by hand for me. I would have to get in a trike, take the laundry down somewhere. They would get to it when they got to it. You know, is it going to be ready today? I don't know, sir.
Right.
You know, and I would go down and get the laundry, not done yet. And it's just that things when you're used to getting immediate results, immediate gratification for things back home. You know, you go to the store to order something, you want it there in stock. You want something done, you call somebody to fix a problem in your house, you want them to show up that day or the next day. Here, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So you didn't have any major swell-ups, though. You didn't have any. You'd done your homework, I'm going to assume. You knew how to transfer money. You knew how to set that up. You knew where to go, what to do. Do you feel like you did enough research?
Yeah, I didn't do enough research on a phone and a phone plan.
Okay.
That was very expensive. I was paying almost $400 a month for my phone plan when I first came here.
Okay.
You know, I told them I needed an international phone plan. Well, they hooked me up international plan, but I had to pay for my U.S. plan and the international plan at the same time. So that's the one thing I didn't do enough homework on.
Okay.
A mailing address.
Okay.
Was the one thing I did do a lot of homework on.
Okay.
And, a year in advance, I set up iPostal ones.
That's smart.
And I got my banks to use that as the address. They were mailing my bank cards there and my statements.
Yeah, because I'd like this video to be a little informational for the new guys, especially those guys coming over, that the biggest dealio that I hear where people are having aggravation is mail, their Social Security, they want to know how to open up a bank account, where do they get their money put, how do they get it over here, and I think that's one of the most important things is to make sure that you've always got access to your money. So,
I knew how to send money here for all the wrong reasons.
Because you were sending it to ladies.
I was sending it to the ladies. I knew how to work World Remit. I knew how to use Western Union. I knew where they were going to pick it up at. I knew the fees. I knew all that stuff. I knew all that stuff.
Well, you had the proper motivation. How'd that work out for you, by the way? Did you get your money's worth?
You know, I'm still trying to get them to pay me back.
Okay.
And they said they have it under their pillow. Come and get it. So I have to go find them. Now, that never works out.
So I think the big takeaway on this, if I can inject it real quick, is to make sure that you have an address back home, especially with dealing with Social Security. I'll just stick with Social Security. Investments, rental income, all that's different animal. But with Social Security, because I've heard a lot of guys were having aggravation with their Social Security right now. They didn't get the proof of life letter. They set it up to have their money transferred to a bank here, or they simply told Social Security that I'm living in the Philippines, where the sage advice is to have the money deposited in America and then transfer it over. When you contact your bank or you contact Social Security, you say, I'm visiting the Philippines. And you're not lying, because I am visiting. I am a visitor here. I've been to other countries. I've been back to America. So you're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes or scamming anybody, but you're just making it actually simple for you and simple for the agency. So phone, set yourself up something with like a Magic Jack, or
I had a Magic Jack.
Something that we'll call international. Another one is Viber. Okay, you can pay them a few dollars and they will make that phone call for you. So if you have to call any entities like a bank or anything like that. Credit cards, when you come over here, do yourself a solid if possible. Empty them for one thing, make them have a zero balance. And number two, maybe tell them that you're coming over here and ask them to extend the expiration date. You'd be surprised at how happy they are to do that in some circumstances. Others won't, some will. Different. They're all different. But you want to get 3, 4, 5 years put on that if possible, and then set it up so that you can pay your credit card should you decide to use it for plane tickets or whatever, right there on your phone or computer.
I use my credit cards. I use one to pay my mailbox, $10 a month. They automatically take it out, and the bank automatically pays them. So it's an active credit card that I can use anytime I need. The other one I was using when I had the phone plan, and I have one other bill back home that I pay with the credit card. And when I buy Amazon, I use one of the credit cards just to keep them active.
Yep.
You don't have to spend a lot of money to keep a credit card active.
No, I put about $50, $60 a month on my credit cards for Google this and
there's always something
traveling
you want.
mailbox that, and then maybe I buy something or
now
whatever.
The big thing that I was worried about was people are saying once they know you're in the Philippines, your banks are going to cancel you. And so when I transfer money, I don't transfer from Wells Fargo or Capital One here. I transfer right to World Remit, and they send it over here.
I do the same thing with Zoom.
Yeah. So the bank doesn't really know what bank it's going to, where it's going to. They don't care. It's none of their business. And have more than one way to send money over, though.
Absolutely.
Test it.
So your first 6 months, you didn't have any major meltdowns, no big issues. You didn't go broke or anything like that.
No, I got lucky and found a nice apartment.
Okay.
It was furnished, and I pity these guys who look for places unfurnished. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to furnish an apartment. You get in there and you don't have a table, you don't have a couch. The first place you get should definitely be furnished.
I agree. Try to go short term or month to month. Those places are
the shortest lease possible.
The shortest lease possible, because you will move in, and one of two things is going to happen. You're going to love it or you're going to hate it. And so if you love it, cool. Then after 3 months, you should know what you've got, and then you can negotiate a 1 year or 6 months or whatever you want to do, or just keep it month to month. That's fine too. Yeah. If you hate it, you got to deal with it for 90 days. And then you bail out. This is exactly what I did when I first got here. I hated it. I bailed out. I found a place I loved, and I lived there for 2.5 years until COVID hit.
You never know. You move into a place, and a rooster decides to live on your patio.
Yeah.
So all these things can happen.
Or a neighbor. That likes to drink and talk late at night in the pool, which was my experience. Ooh. Anyway, okay, so where are you at now today? Where's you've advanced to? You met the love of your life.
I met Janet.
When did that happen?
I met Janet pretty quick. In May of 2022, and I arrived in the Philippines in February. So February, March, I was in Behold, April, and then in May I met Janet on Facebook, not on a dating site, but
So you met Janet after 4 months.
after 4 months.
Did you guys immediately cohabitate?
No. Well, it took a week to meet in person, even though
Oh,
she
okay.
worked right around the corner from me. She was very shy, didn't want to meet a foreigner in person. We video chatted, we talked, but she was just hundreds of yards away, and I couldn't get her to stop by and say hello until one day she did.
Okay.
And after that one day, we've been more or less together ever since. But we dated for a little while, and I wanted a full-time girlfriend. Maybe I'm needy, but I wanted a live-in, full-time girlfriend. And Janet did a few things to prove to me that she was the right girl for me. And we started looking for a house to rent or a bigger apartment, and we found the house we're in now. And it's worked out great. It was perfect then. It's not perfect now, so we need to find something else.
Copy that. And then you got married.
Then we got married. She wasn't interested in getting married.
To you?
Yeah, to me. But I told her from the get-go, I said, let's live together for a year. And if we get along for the year, then I'll start mixing things together, mixing the money together, making her more part of my life.
Right.
Just wanted to have a 1 year living together with no problems. And when that year came close to an end, I said, she deserves better than shacking up with some guy. She was very good to me, and I'm blessed in what I found in Janet. I decided I told her, let's get married. And no one in her family's married.
Really?
Other than mom and dad.
And she's never been married?
She's never been married. She's
Okay.
a single mom. And there's no financial gain. When you marry a Filipina and you're not taking them back to the U.S. for Social Security benefits, survivor benefits, there's no financial gain being married. But I thought I just deserved to give her to live a married life.
Yeah.
And
there is a security feeling there. There is a lot of benefits, I think, to being married for both you and her.
Yes.
And you took on her son, which is very
Yes,
noble.
yeah.
And
10 years old when we met, and now he's 12. And guys, when you're finding your partner for life, and you're my age, and my thought there is, I'll take care of her now. But when I'm 80 and I need diapers, like people joke about and stuff,
Sure.
she's going to be there to do that.
right.
And we'll no longer be on the YouTube, we'll no longer be social media, but she's always going to be there for me. And I trust her far more than I'm going to trust a nursing home back home.
I agree. So it's a mutually beneficial arrangement between the two of you.
It
You
is.
both have a better lifestyle. You both complement each other. You both get along great. I've known you for a year. I've known both of you for that amount of time. I've never seen you guys go through any big trials or tribulations. And I think that's just, the dream scenario right there. What are your goals? What are your wants? We talked about wants and needs before, but what are your needs, you think, for the future?
My need in the future, or my want, is a permanent residence.
So you want to buy a place?
Buy a place or a long-term lease that will give me the security of not having to move.
Okay.
But in time, we're looking at things, but it's in the future. Even though I'm old, the future's not that far away from ending, but there's things in the future that we have that we want to get to. And the thing I worry about with a partner is you can leave them money, but money goes away. You leave money, the family's going to dwindle down at it. Janet's heart's too good to say no to a niece or an aunt that needs help. And I'm afraid after a few years, the nest egg I leave her will be gone. So eventually I'd like to leave her a plot of land somewhere. I don't have to build on it.
Right.
When her son's 18 or 20 and he's grown, he can get in there, roll his sleeves up and build them something.
Yeah.
But they have something that they can call their own.
Yeah,
And,
that's huge.
And trying to leave her a lot better than I found her.
I agree. Oh, what about supporting the family? Are you involved in that?
Yes, I am, and I give 2,000 pesos a month to family. That's not support. That's a donation.
And you give that to who?
I give that to Janet. She gives it to her mom. I never
Okay.
physically hand money to the family. Janet.
Okay.
And because the deal was when Janet was working, she was making 5,000 pesos a month. And when I told her I needed a full-time girlfriend, I need you to quit working. She goes, I have a son to support. I have my family that I help. And it made a lot of sense. So I said, I'm going to put 5,000 in the bank for you every month. That's the can't touch it. That's a deal breaker. That's the after Mike fund. If I'd left you or something happened between us, that's your money, but you can't use it until that point. And I also gave what she gave her mom every month was 2,000 pesos.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to take away from the family income. So
Because that's what she was contributing out of
that's
her
what she
five.
was contributing out of
So
her
she was
five.
keeping 3 or using 3 to live. 2 went to the family.
Yes.
So you kept the 2 going to the family, and now 5 a month goes into her savings account,
Yeah.
month in, month out.
Yeah.
She doesn't touch that,
She doesn't touch that.
and you handle everything else.
I handle everything else. Now that has changed over the course of time now.
Okay.
As we grow as people, I don't contribute any more money to Janet. I've shown her how to make money. She's
Okay.
making 7,000 to 8,000 pesos a month on her YouTube channel.
Okay.
So she uses that for everything. Her
Okay.
2,000 to her family, and she puts the rest in her bank.
Ah,
So, you can. What's the old saying? You can give a man a fish and he eat for the day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So,
Sure.
the little bit that she makes, and it's not a little bit. That's
No.
a good sum of money.
no,
And
because like we just said, she was making 5.
Making
And now
5.
you're saying she's making 8.
and
So-
growing, hopefully grows.
And growing.
And she works hard at that, and she's paying her own way now. So I'm very proud of that.
I would be too. What's your feeling about guys that give their girlfriend, well, just say girlfriend, not wife, an allowance? They move them in, they're working, not working, and they give them an allowance. Are you in agreement with that, or how do you feel about that?
I don't know about an allowance. I'm a man from in the day. I pay everything. If I went on a date with a girl back in the States or here, I'm paying for everything. And there's nothing Janet would have to pay for, or any girl that was my girlfriend when we're together. If we were separate and she was living at her parents' house, yeah, I don't expect to buy her makeup and this stuff. But
Right.
if she moves into the house and lives under my roof, it's just part of the overall shopping.
Got it.
Household goods, bathroom products. I just pay for everything. There is no want in our family because Janet's a simple girl. I'm lucky in that aspect.
And so I imagine it's kind of like the relationship I have with my wife is like, we may not be going out together, but she needs something, so I'll go, what do you want? She says,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to get makeup, or I'm going to do my hair, or,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm going to go, okay. I give them X amount of pesos,
Yeah.
give her X amount.
Exactly.
Knock yourself out, have fun.
And they bring
But
you
that
the receipt.
set amount,
Yeah.
I made that mistake when I started coming over here. 8,000, 10,000, 20,000
Oh,
a
I
month.
did that too.
I think that is a really poor idea.
That's a bad idea.
You
The
know?
girl I was dating in Bohol, she would come down for the couple days and then she'd be going back and say, oh, I'm going to have 2 teeth pulled and I need this. And I'd whip off 15,000 pesos. Say, here, get
Yeah.
all that taken care of.
Yeah.
And, so was she just coming down to get paid? Was coming down a couple times a month, payday?
Right.
Or was she really into you? So you as a man have to, common sense, in 50 years of life, 60 years of life, you should be able to see through that at some point. Yeah, they can take you once, they take you twice, but after a while, you should be able to sniff that out.
Yeah. 2 years you've been here, and do you have any intentions of changing anything at all? I mean, if you could, would you change anything at all?
No, no's the answer. I would not change where I live. I really like this sleepy town in Dumaguete. I really like living where we live, which is just below Valencia, and I enjoy my family. And
Dumaguete's got kind of a reputation of being flooded with expats. And I have to try to squash that rumor. I don't know where it comes from. I don't find it at all overrun by expats. In fact, I Googled it. There's 4,500 expats here, and there's a population of 120,000. So we make up 3% of the population. I understand that there are clusters of expats at any given bar, restaurant, coffee shop,
in the downtown
which may
area.
give the appearance that there's a ton of expats here. But I go, last weekend, on Sunday, we went to the Valencia market, which has become like the county fair. Back in the day, there was 5 booths there. Now there's 50, and everybody seems to go there on Sunday. It's just the thing to do. And I look around, and I can say there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that look like me, and there's about 1,000 Filipinos here.
Well,
so I don't see this big influx. And they say that foreigners are driving up the prices. I totally disagree with that also.
So do I.
There's not enough of us
There's not enough
to
of
have that kind of financial impact. I can see if we were 30% of the population, but we're 3%.
People are only seeing what people show on the YouTube.
Right.
People who actually come here, and I will ask them, too many foreigners? Are people putting cameras in your face everywhere you go? And the answer is no.
No.
The answer is no. You go to a restaurant, and you go to eat at a higher end restaurant, or a Jollibee even, or a McDonald's here. You or one other guy might be the only 2 foreigners in it, and the rest are all Filipino. There's a large, I call it a middle class,
Big
that
time.
is developing here in Dumaguete.
Big
Everybody's working.
Big time.
So much construction going up in the mountains, houses being built, new stores, new shopping malls being built here.
Yep.
This is a boom town.
And the pandemic thinned this place out huge.
Yes.
Back when I was here, there was a big exodus of people because they had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Their visa was expiring and they had to get home and take care of business, or they just had to go. So there was this big flight, this big loss of foreign nationals here in general, not just Americans, but Chinese, and Koreans, and this and that and the other.
And Germans.
And everybody was bailing out, and it was just very small. And the influx of guys has definitely picked up in the last few years since the pandemic, but nothing like before.
No,
in fact, I looked at some stats, and tourism is down. People are discovering other areas to go to. Dumaguete used to be on the Forbes list, and I don't know if it's still on there anymore. I think it's off. But I would just like to, while we got this minute here, if anybody's still watching.
I don't think so. I'm pretty boring. You talk about that. What you see here, if you're downtown around the boulevard, the Seaport area, there's going to be a lot of backpackers coming through town.
Big time.
They're not coming here to live. They're traveling through. They're spending the night, and then they're going to catch another ferry to Sikihor or Palawan or up to Cebu. It's a good stopping point where you can get a hotel for the night and continue your journey. There's not that many tourist spots in Dumaguete. People go diving. They go out to the dive shops. They go check out the waterfalls. But we don't have the big tour buses like they do in Cebu going to a waterfall.
Right.
Or going to a beach resort. We don't have that here.
So let's just end it with this. Do you feel, yes or no, that we are overrun with foreigners here in Dumaguete? Okay. Do you think that foreigners are driving up the prices and making everything crazy?
No.
I don't either.
No.
All right.
Because Filipinos are paying the same price we're paying for things.
Absolutely.
When you go in a restaurant, there's not 2 different menus. Here, Paul, here's the foreigner menu, and the Filipinos get a different menu. No.
Right. And one other thing real quick is we were talking about this earlier, is foreigners are early risers, and Filipinos are going to work, going to school. And so by the time we leave the coffee shop, if I go into a coffee shop like I did this morning, it was me and 3 or 4 other foreigners, and that was it. It was not crowded at all. It's almost,
Morning coffee.
1 o'clock right now or something like that. If we go right now at 1 o'clock, there'll be nothing but Filipino students in there on their computers drinking the same $4 latte that I ordered. and there's
maybe getting a refill that we don't
more of them than us. So I just kind of wanted to squish that little.
I think it's
little
the
rumor.
influx from during COVID of all the YouTubers that were here. And
Yeah.
the thing was, they were just YouTubers. They were popular and entertaining. You had
Yeah.
Bud Brown, you had
Yeah,
Ned,
yeah,
you
yeah,
had
yeah.
yourself. There was a lot of YouTubers here that were very popular and entertaining and gave a lot of good information. So everybody thinks Dumaggetti's over flooded with foreigners because
There's so
they
many
say that.
YouTubers.
Yeah, well, you know, to get an ACR card and to live in Dumaggetti, you have to check, yes, I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
To get your, I think it's a requirement of BDO for bank account too.
All right, well, Mikey, thanks for coming on. It's been a
Thank
year.
you. Been a
It's
year.
been too long. We'll see you guys again in another year.